The time is now 2:07 a.m. Sunday morning. This video needs to be posted at Sunday in the afternoon, so if you're watching this video, you know I'm a very tired person. Oh gosh. Part 2. How to make a video. Run the intro, please. So it's Intuitive One Walking Barnaby back with another YouTube video. This week we are covering part 2 of the two-part series how to make a video, and this week we're going to be looking at post-production. But before we get into the nitty-gritties of that, like this video, subscribe to this channel. If it's the first time that you are watching this video or any video on this channel for that matter, hit the sub button. YouTube analytics are saying that about 53% of the people who watches my videos so far are not subscribed, and I don't have a lot of views either for some of them. Some videos are doing better than the other, but in general cases most viewers are actually not subscribers. So just do the deed, you know, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. I post videos every Sunday, and it's usually between 6 p.m. to 8 p.m, you know, depending on all the stuff I have to get done on a Sunday. But without further ado, how to make a video. Alright, so last week, a quick recap, we're talking about, you know, planning your videos, you know, involve whether you're gonna write it, type it, sketch it, / draw it. You know, we talk about setting up the scene, you know, you light your scene, you sort out your background. I'm not sitting on a squeaky chair this week, thank God. You've done your time. And actually recording. Now, this video actually took me like, what, 3, 4, 5 takes. I mean, I still had the camera rolling. I never stopped. So, for me, when I'm editing now, I'm going to cut out a lot of unnecessary footage. But I'm sticking to my own advice. I'm not stopping and starting over. I actually continue, as long as the battery lasts, of course. So yes, what are you going to need for post-production? Evidently you're going to need the video that you just done record. You're going to need the sounds that you're planning to use, you know, from sound effects to background music. And of course, you're going to need your plan. We talked about this. Remember that in your plan, it also helps you when you're editing because you're sticking to the plan. Remember, your plan is a vision of what you want your video to play out. So obviously you're going to need it when you're editing. The most important thing, you're going to need a video editing tool. You're obviously going to be either using DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut Pro, and my favorite, Adobe Premiere Pro. Now, Final Cut is obviously a Mac-centered program. So for my Mac users, you obviously have that. Or you can even use iMovie. Windows users, you have DaVinci Resolve, it's free. And if you are lucky enough to have an Adobe suite, even if your subscription soon run out, or you have it some other way, don't tell me how you get it. Adobe Premiere Pro. Now, I prefer using Premiere Pro for obvious reasons. I'm a Windows user, and I've been exposed to the Adobe suites from a very young age, probably around 15, 16, when I was doing art in high school, and I had to do graphic design as a subtopic for art. You know, that carried me right throughout. Actually, right up to university when I started studying architecture. That's another YouTube video for another time. A story of my life kind of flex. But right now we're talking about how to edit a video. So now that you gathered all of the stuff that we talk about, you know, you have your video, you have your sounds, you have your plan, you choose your software, let's jump into the software. But before we jump into the software, I need to get into more computer friendly clothes. Where's my sweater? Got it. You know, this is a boring way to put on a sweater. Let's use some magic. You know, if I pull on my shirt hard enough, it should change like a That's this feels a lot more comfortable to editing. All right, so let's jump into Premiere Pro. So we are in Premiere Pro, and I already have a video prepared. So this is a completed edited video clip, something I'm sending to Adrian. Of course, I'm gonna guide you through the editing process. So we're gonna start from scratch. I won't be able to recreate it exactly as is here, but we're gonna go from scratch. Let's start by creating a new sequence. So the first thing you want to do, you want to import your video. This clip doesn't matter, blah 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 blah. I want this video to be at 1920 by 1080p video, so I'll leave that there. So of course this video is 4 minutes 30 seconds long, call it. So we're going to try to cut this down to at least 2.5 minutes or less. First thing, I want to zoom in, and I'm gonna scrub through. So obviously here I'm not in frame. Adrian's video. Yeah, we know it's Adrian's video. Alright, so my name is Joaquin Barnaby. My profession. So the first thing I want to do is to cut out that unnecessary footage here right before I introduce myself. So I'm going to take the scissors tool, or the razor tool I should say, and I'm going to slice this here, and I'm going to delete, and I'm going to drag. Alright, let's go. Alright, so my name is Joaquin Barnaby. Alright, so it still needs to be clipped a little bit more. Let's try that. Let's see how that sounds. So my name is Joaquin Barnaby. My profession, it's more like I'm a YouTuber, and I edit videos under the name Rey Studios JA. Follow me on Instagram and subscribe to me on YouTube, I guess. So at this point now, I know that's the end of the first part, because that was the first question, you know, what's my name and what's my business shout outs. I did all of that, I achieved all of that, so I'm going to cut the clip here. Now we're gonna continue playing. When did I start? Or why did I start? Why did I start? I think that's a better one. I started because of COVID, actually, you know. I think I fumbled when I was making that take. Remember last week I talked about when you fumble your clips, you don't stop and start over, you let the camera roll. So I let the camera roll, and I think somewhere around here I did it over. Is here? And then I realized that, alright, let's go over again. Why did I So obviously, if I were to zoom in, this is where the dialogue starts again. So I'm gonna cut this clip here, and then all of this, I'm gonna remove it. So I'm deleting it, and then I close up the gap. So let's go from the first clip into the second clip. And subscribe to me on YouTube, I guess. Why did I start? You know, and that's what we call a jump cut. No, I actually started because of COVID. Yeah, believe it or not. I was actually asked to be a part of the virtual church team where I would run the stream, because at the time I was probably one of the few. So obviously there's unnecessary pause. I can actually put another jump cut there. So what I use the audio in the videos to decide where to cut. So where you see there's no activity in the frequency, I'm gonna cut. Let's drag back that, let's delete that, and let's put this here. Let's play it, go back a few frames and play it over. Because at the time I was probably one of the few persons who it's almost seamless. Understood how the streaming thing works. So, you know, I had to learn OBS, and then eventually I had to learn how to edit videos to play in the stream, and then in the editing process I've come to... Now obviously I'm going to full detail, and I won't be able to get this video to go down to under 2.5 minutes. So at this point I'm gonna cut the video. And then in the editing is to play in the stream, and then to edit videos to play in the stream. So right where I say stream, and then
gonna delete that.
In the editing process, I've come to really enjoy. When did I start?
No, the next part is when did I start. So obviously I'm gonna come right here when I started saying it. I get my razor, cut the clip, delete the unwanted footage, drag it up on the timeline, display over from the previous clip into the new clip.
So, you know, I had to learn OBS, and then eventually I had to learn how to edit videos to play in the stream. And when did I start?
That wasn't a clean cut here because I cut it in the middle of a word, so I'm gonna try to cut it again.
When did I start? I stream, and when stream.
Is this a good spot to cut? I think this is a good spot to cut.
Just to play in the stream. When did I start? I started.
And here we have another long gap. So let's delete that. Let's take care of that. Guys, sorry if you're hearing some unnecessary background noise. I'm using the condenser mic and it's daytime, so everybody's up. Yeah. So let's go again. We're deleting the unnecessary scene. Let's drag this up on the timeline.
Started mid-April, March.
See that it's almost seamless.
March, video editing of course, and I started YouTube about a month ago actually. Yeah.
So that's the end of that question there. Now I could go ahead and do the same thing and cut this and this. You know, get rid of that delay. Let's play it over.
Started YouTube about a month ago actually. Yeah. What I wish I knew.
So this is the next question. So I'm gonna delete all of this unwanted quietness or awkwardness. And I'll put it right up here. Let's play again.
Surely. Yeah. What I wish I knew before starting out. A lot of things.
So clearly this is a very long pause here. So then we're gonna cut out this piece just like we did before. You know, try to use the sound waves to see where you need to put. But listen for key phrases as well.
A lot of things actually. You know, I wish I knew a lot more about cinematography, you know, so I could make even cooler videos. But for now, I wish I knew how to market myself.
And that's where I'm leaving it at. I mean, I went into greater details, but then the video would not be short enough, right? So let's scrub the next question.
Nice and thing. I wish I knew how to just put myself out there. You know, right now I use TikTok, but I don't think it's enough. So yeah.
Alright, so here's the next question. So right before I start reading it, I just cut the clip there, delete, drag it up.
To market myself. What's the most difficult thing? What's the most difficult thing?
So there I fumbled. So obviously now I'm gonna go back to where I started the second take of this question.
What's the most
So we're gonna cut, delete that,
to market myself thing? What's the most difficult thing?
obviously that's the wrong thing I deleted. So this is what I should actually delete. Drag this up.
Difficult. What's the most difficult thing about market myself? What's the most?
I keep deleting the wrong section. So yeah, alright. So finally we cut and let's go from this.
No, I wish I knew how to market myself. What's the most difficult thing about starting?
So already we have a video that was once 4.5 minutes long. It's now almost 3 minutes. So we've basically removed a whole minute of footage out of it already. We still want to shrink it down. So let's play through.
What's the most difficult thing about starting? I'd say the lack of confidence was the most difficult thing. Because I had all the tools to really get started. Lights, camera, mics, tripod, I had everything. I just didn't believe myself enough to get started.
So that's where I want to leave it there. So I cut that clip there. Let's continue playing.
Started. How am I coping with cold?
Alright, so that's the last question now. So I cut this clip here, delete, and I drag.
How am I coping with COVID? Physically, I'm not coping that well because I am barely outside. I am at home 90% of the week. The only time I actually go out is to go to church, and that's to stream.
And then I cut here.
Otherwise, I'm home unless I have to make like an error.
You know, I don't need to tell people my business, so let's scroll.
So yeah, mentally,
This is where the mentally part starts. It was at this sound wave. So let's cut this and remove that. And like before, we drag it up the timeline. Let's play back.
go out is to go to church, and that's to stream. Mentally, I'm doing good. It can be depressing to be at home all the time, but you know, when you have things to be doing all the time, it take your mind off things. Financially, all right, it's not that bad. I thought it would have been worse, because you know, going to school, you'd have lunch money you could actually save from. But now that I have this skill, actually earning from it. I'm not earning a lot, but I'm earning. I'm able to purchase.
Now I could easily cut out from where I said I'm earning and just go right to the end. I could do that. But I want to keep some of the spicy-ish stuff, I guess you want to call it that.
To purchase my own gear with the money that I make, and my mother is actually pretty proud that I don't have to depend on her for anything really.
So at that point, I can just cut it.
Money that I make, and my mother is actually pretty proud that I don't have to depend on her for anything really. So I think I'm doing okay. I'd like to do better, of course. Hence why I'm trying to improve my skill. So yeah.
And I just cut down the video from 4 minutes 30 to 2 minutes 30. We shaved off 2 whole minutes off it. So let's see. Can we shave off anymore?
I think I'm doing okay. I'd like to do better, of course. Hence why I'm trying to improve my skill. So yeah.
So I could cut out all of this. Let's do that. So let's remove that. Drag it up on the timeline as usual. And now we have a video that's 2 minutes and 20 seconds long. Actually, undo that.
Hence why I'm trying to improve my skill. So yeah.
So at this point now we're gonna cut it and we're gonna delete all this because this is when I actually got up to turn off your camera. So let's delete, and we shaved it off from 4 minutes 30 to 2 minutes 30 seconds roughly. Alright, so that's just the first part, cutting out unnecessary clips. Now my next process is that I add effects to it. So because all of this was shot on a tripod with the same camera, same lighting conditions and everything, I get an adjustment layer. So let's just delete these. Actually no, that's from the previous file. So let's create a new one, a new adjustment layer, and then we just drag it, and then we're gonna pull straight across the whole video because we want to apply this effect to the entire video. Then Now we're gonna do some effects. So we click on the effects tab. In Premiere Pro is gonna change the workspace into a more effects friendly workspace. It takes a while. My computer has been on for a very long time. So I'm gonna look for the transform effect. Drag it on the adjustment layer. So it's on the adjustment layer now. So what do I want to do now? So all of these shots are stationary shots. So I want to add some movement to them. So for the introduction scene, let's do a zoom in. So to do that, we're gonna click on the adjustment layer, scroll to where you see the transform effects here, effects effect. You're gonna turn on the keyframe for scale and position, and then I scroll to the end of the clip, and let's say I want this to scale to increase to about 120, no, 125. Alright, as you can see, the top of my quote-unquote man bun is right here, but at the same time my beard is here. I don't really want to cut anything, but I'm kind of slightly off-centered, so I'm going to shift it a bit over, and now let's play it back.
So my name is Joaquin Barnaby, and my profession, it's more like I'm a YouTuber and I edit videos under the name Rey Studios JA. Follow me on Instagram and subscribe to me on YouTube, I guess.
So you see the difference? If I were to turn off that
So
layer,
my name is Joaquin Barnaby,
no
and
movement.
my profession, it's more like I'm a
movement.
YouTuber and I edit videos under the name.
Now I could do this for the rest of the scenes, of course, but you guys get the gist of it, what you do with the adjustment layer. So after I add my effects, the next thing I want to add is actually color correct the video. So again, because they're all on the same camera, the shots that are on the same camera, same lighting conditions, same placement, so I put it all on an adjustment layer, and then I click color tab, and then it's gonna create a workspace that is more ideal for color grading or color correcting. Lumetri scopes, that's if you are that great of a colorist. I am not, so I don't look at the lumetri scope. I keep my effect control tabs over here. So I do a basic color correction, so I check if the exposure is okay. This is obviously underexposed and this is overexposed, and you see all the film grain.
So
It takes away from the quality, make it look like you're shooting with some old Sony Ericsson phone, right? So let's put it around middle. Actually, it can be at the default setting. Let's reset it, and then I want some increase on the contrast. So I could, this is like no contrast, this is like film grain, this is with a bit more contrast. It's obviously a little darker now, so you could probably bump up the exposure just a little bit. And then with the highlights now, you can turn that up, not too much. Shadows, turn it down a little. The whites, turn it up a little bit. And then the blacks, you just want to ensure that your blackest black on frame is black. So for me, the blackest black in this video is either this chair or my hair. So I tweak the black a bit, and that is good for me. And now if I want to add my skin color, you know, the white balance, I don't really feel like it. I could just choose a color based on the background and it would automatically do that, but I could just manually tweak the sliders here. Now take out, this is like too green, let's take out some of the green, and I feel more satisfied with that.
to understood how the streaming thing works, so you know I had to learn OBS, and then eventually I had to learn how to edit videos to play in the stream. When did I start? I started.
Alright, so the next thing I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna add a LUT. So it gives this style now. So after you correct the colors, you're gonna give your video a style. So I have a folder that I have different LUTs I get for free. So I'm just gonna go through them. This one is called Vintage Film Summer. Let's open it. That's obviously too much, so I'm gonna crank down the intensity. Let's play.
Did mid-April, March, video editing of course, and I started YouTube about a month ago.
I don't like that one.
Yeah. What?
So I'm gonna change it. Let's try orange and teal. Let's crank up the intensity just a little bit.
I wish I knew before starting out. A lot of things
I actually like this.
You know, I wish I knew a lot more about cinematography.
I actually like that, but let's change it again. And this one is a much brighter LUT. I use this one for most of my TikToks actually. Yes, I color grade my TikToks.
What I wish I knew before starting out. A lot of things.
Now I could add background music like I have on this sequence here. But yeah, so after you cut your clips, add your effects, color grade, add your music, you're going to end up with something like this.
Alright, so my name is Joaquin Barnaby, and my profession, it's more like I'm a YouTuber and I edit videos under the name Rey Studios JA. Follow me on Instagram and subscribe to me on YouTube, I guess. Why did I start? You know, I actually started because of COVID. Yeah, believe it or not. I was actually asked to be a part of the virtual church team where I would run the stream, because at the time I was probably one of the few persons who understood how the streaming thing works. When did I start? I started mid-April, March, video editing of course, and I started YouTube about a month ago actually. Yeah. What I wish I knew before starting out. A lot of things actually. You know, I wish I knew a lot more about cinematography, you know, so I could make even cooler videos. But for now, I wish I knew how to market myself. What's the most difficult thing about starting? I'd say the lack of confidence was the most difficult thing, because I had all the tools to really get started. Lights, camera, mics, tripod, I had everything. I just didn't believe myself enough to get started. How am I coping with COVID? Physically, I'm not coping that well because I am barely outside. I am at home 90% of the week. The only time I actually go out is to go to church, and that's to stream. Mentally, I'm doing good. It can be depressing to be at home all the time, but you know, when you have things to be doing all the time, it take your mind off things. Financially, alright, it's not that bad. I thought it would have been worse, because you know, going to school you'd have lunch money you could actually save from, but now that I have this skill, actually earning from it. I'm not earning a lot, but I'm earning. I'm able to purchase my own gear, so I think I'm doing okay. I'd like to do better, of course, hence why I'm trying to improve my skill. So yeah, so we've come to the end of another video now. I know you were expecting a greater detail thing. It's kind of impossible to teach Premiere Pro in 10 minutes or less. So what we went through was like the basics of editing, you know. Over time, we're going to have more detailed videos, detailed tutorials. Now, I'm going to ask you that you bear your patience, because those are going to be some long tutorials depending on the topics. Some are going to be short, more or less, but you know, this channel is here to stay. I hope you are here to stay. And if you are here to stay, like this video, leave a comment, follow me on social media. I am on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The links for those are in the description below. If you want the links to the gear that I use, my Neewer lights, and no pun intended, the company name is actually Neewer. My Neewer condenser microphone that I use when I'm behind the computer. This Fulaim Lavalier mic, you know, all of that, the Amazon links are in the description. Yes, the tripod that I use as well, it's also in the description, you know. I wonder if Amazon will make me an affiliate. What do you think? But before I go, I would like to use this opportunity to promote the newest crowdfunding platform. It's called Real Helping Hands. Now, this platform is aimed for the people of the Caribbean, especially Jamaicans, to help other Jamaicans out. You know, we're trying to make this a Caribbean friendly platform so that we can raise funds to help each other. We know that this coronavirus is going around affecting people different ways. You know, some people have been without jobs. You know, people want to be able to send their children to school, whether virtually, and they don't have the tools. Or me that don't own a camera for myself, would like to buy a camera, but I would need you guys' help, so I would start up a project, you know, hint, hint, wink, wink. But yeah, Real Helping Hands, check them out. The link to the website is in the description. Follow them on Instagram. They have an Instagram page. The link to that is in the description as well. And yeah, pretty much I've done all I can. It's now time to wrap up this recording and wrap up this YouTube video. And as usual, this is Joaquim saying, "We'll see you when we see you."